You may not know his name unless you're from Illinois, but Michael Madigan has been pulling the strings of Democratic politics for over 50 years. Today, that long reign is coming to an end. The longest-serving legislative leader in U.S. history will be sentenced in federal court for corruption charges so massive that they could fill a textbook. From machine politics to bribery to wire fraud and racketeering, this is the story of power, greed, and a total lack of accountability. Let's get into it. Welcome to Nellie Miranda. Before we get into today's video, please make sure you like and subscribe as it really helps support the channel, and tap the notification bell so you never miss an update. So, Michael Madigan was first elected to the Illinois House in 1971. By 1983, he was Speaker of the House, and he held that post for 38 years, longer than any legislative leader in U.S. history. He also chaired the Illinois Democratic Party for more than 2 decades. Locals called him the real governor. He controlled redistricting, he controlled committee assignments, he controlled campaign cash, he controlled everything.
Today, the political godfather who for decades determined the fates of so many Illinois lawmakers will soon learn his own fate from a federal judge.
A jury convicted former Illinois House Speaker Michael Madigan on nearly a dozen bribery and corruption charges in February.
Michael Madigan has a deep history in Illinois politics, so it's no surprise prosecutors are asking for a rather lengthy sentence for the 83-year-old former politician. 12 and a half years in prison and a $1.5 million fine.
I don't think the judge will give the full amount that the prosecution has asked for. If you look at, for instance, the Alderman Burke trial, he was given 2 years because of his age and all of the letters in support of his good deeds over the years.
This is exactly the kind of concentrated power our founders warned about. When one man controls an entire state for nearly 4 decades, you don't have a representative democracy. You have a political cartel. In 2022, Madigan was indicted on 23 federal counts: racketeering, bribery, wire fraud. And here's how it worked. Utility giants like ComEd and AT&T funneled jobs and contracts to Madigan allies. In exchange, he passed legislation favorable to their companies. ComEd agreed to pay $200 million in a deferred prosecution deal. The feds uncovered thousands of recorded conversations, some secretly obtained by former Alderman Danny Solis, who flipped to corporate. This wasn't just a lapse in judgment. This was an organized criminal enterprise. As prosecutors described it, it was the Mike Madigan money machine, and it was powered by your tax dollars.
Simpson also thinks the judge won't give Madigan a 14-year sentence like Blagojevich got, again because of his age and the fact the jury found him guilty on 10 counts. Even though he's similar in age to the recently convicted Alderman Ed Burke, here's why Simpson says Judge Blakely is likely to sentence Madigan to more prison time.
The reason he won't get the 2 years that Burke got is he's never shown remorse, never shown any willingness to admit to any wrongdoing.
And I think another factor that is going to weigh heavily against him is the fact that he testified in his own behalf at trial, and according to the prosecution, he lied.
In their sentencing motion, prosecutors allege Madigan committed perjury by providing information under oath that was in direct opposition to testimony that already had been given by other witnesses. What false information did he allegedly provide?
He often portrayed that he wasn't really trying to influence Commonwealth Edison or the other companies, other than to get people who needed jobs, which is part of the role of a political figure.
I can tell you from my prior experience with other cases, while it's the right of every defendant in a criminal case to testify in their own behalf, judges don't take very kindly to those defendants that testify falsely.
The trial stretched for months. Over 60 witnesses took the stand, and in February 2025, Madigan was found guilty on 10 counts, including wire fraud and bribery. He was acquitted on 7 others, and jurors deadlocked on 6, including racketeering. But the core of the corruption scheme was proven. Defense lawyers claimed that he never personally enriched himself. But prosecutors revealed that he amassed $40 million in net worth while in public office. Listen, I don't care if he stuffed the money in his mattress or funneled it through his friends. He leveraged public office for private influence. And we better see mass hysteria from the media. He should not get a pass because he is a Democrat.
The roughly 200 letters the court received in support of Madigan could help sway Judge Blakely's final decision. One came from his daughter and former Illinois Attorney General Lisa Madigan. She wrote, "Mike is meticulously ethical and honest and shunned many of the perks of elected office."
I'm sure it's difficult for Lisa to decide exactly how to both support her father and support the group.
Another letter came from former Governor Jim Edgar. Simpson thinks that one will have some pull.
It does speak to the fact that Madigan just wasn't getting friends jobs and getting payoffs for various political operatives, but that and getting, most importantly, money for himself through his law firm.
There were also letters from White Sox owner Jerry Reinsdorf, former Orland Park Police Chief Tim McCarthy, and former State Representative Bill Lipinski.
Federal prosecutors are recommending 12.5 years in prison, a sentence they say reflects the sheer scale and longevity of Madigan's corruption. His lawyers argue for leniency. They say he's 83 years old. He's a caregiver to his wife, and he has suffered enough. His wife last week sent in an emotional plea. Watch.
Madigan's own wife of 50 years sent in a video instead of a letter to show her support. His lawyers asked for special permission to do so, given her health.
It was very difficult for me not to be at the trial because he knows that I want to be there and he wants me there. You know, even if it's just to look at. I mean, it's a silly thing to say. I really don't exist without him. I wish I could say that I do, but I don't know what I would do without Michael. I would probably have to find someplace to live.
Simpson says it will have an emotional impact, but doesn't think it will affect the judge's final decision.
Cry me a river. Like, I'm sad for her really because she is old, and when you're at that age, I'm assuming you want to live and die with your partner next to you. That's understandable. But that doesn't give a pass to his crimes. She also largely benefited from his crimes. You don't get to rule a state like a king for 50 years, sell off influence like used furniture, and then say, but I'm old now. Justice delayed is not justice denied, and it must be served. 12 years seems like an eternity for an old man, but laws are laws. Madigan is not an outlier. He's part of a trend. New York Speaker Sheldon Silver, convicted. Massachusetts Speaker Sal DeMasi, convicted. Missouri Speaker Rod Jetton, charged. It is a nationwide pattern of entrenched Democratic leadership gone rogue. Why? Because when you have one-party rule, corruption festers in the dark. This is why we need term limits, transparent redistricting, and an end to the political machines that rot our institutions from the inside out.
In the end, it all comes down to this.
What message does this sentence send to other public officials in Illinois?
Michael Madigan's legacy will not be one of leadership. It will be one of indictment. For decades, he sold out the people of Illinois, and today, he's finally being held accountable. So let me ask you, should we mandate term limits for all state legislative leaders? And should both parties be held to equal standards when it comes to prosecution? Let me know in the comments. And as always, if honest commentary brings you value, please make sure you like and subscribe as it helps support the channel, and tap the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.